This is a practical framework to help you track and achieve your goals for this year. If you've seen the video that I made on the life tracker system, this framework works really well with that. This framework has honestly helped me a lot in my life, and I continue to use it today. Like, it's helped me make progress on my hobbies, like learning Japanese, to making really dramatic shifts in my life, like quitting my high-paying job and pursuing entrepreneurship. This video that you're watching would not have been possible if I hadn't followed this framework. So that's why I wanted to make this video. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5-step framework in the most practical way, showing you exactly how I track everything, the apps that I use, journal setups, so that you can achieve your goals and New Year's resolutions. And if you've ever struggled with consistency or accountability in the past, at the end, I'll share with you some useful tips that I've found to be super helpful. So the first step is to write your goals out. And this might seem super obvious, but it's actually something that a lot of people look over or miss. So for me, starting in college, every year I would set pretty ambitious New Year's resolutions. And usually they'd be around the same thing, like a fitness goal, a reading goal, and maybe a financial goal. But every time, no matter what happened, and I started to notice that this was happening, was that I would sort of lose that excitement and start to forget about that goal that I had set at the beginning of the year. And it wouldn't be until the end of the year that I remembered that I had set out to do this ambitious goal and I had basically made no real progress on it. If you've ever had the same experience, then you know that the biggest obstacle to achieving any goal is actually remembering them. And so the lesson I learned was that you should not only write your goals down, but put it somewhere where you'll have to see it every day. If you think about how much input you get every day from different conversations or different videos that you watch, it's really easy to get swayed from your goals or simply forget about them. Just by writing it down and putting it somewhere where you'll have to look at it, makes it so that you won't sway from your initial goal or resolution. To actually do this in practice, I want to show you 2 ways that I go about doing this. The first way is to put your goals on your phone lock screen. So if you're on iOS, I recommend this app called AnyText, and you can put a widget on your lock screen that you can change to be basically any text. So you can use this to write a few bullet points of what your goal is for this year. Then all you have to do is to keep it on your lock screen, and every time you open your phone, you'll be reminded of your goal for the year. And if you're not on the latest iOS version or you have a different type of phone, you could always write down your goal in the Notes app, take a screenshot of it, and make your phone wallpaper. The benefit of the widget is that you can still change your wallpaper without forgetting about your goals. The second method is to keep a journal. So if you also journal like me and you regularly check in to your journal anyway, it's also super powerful to have a dedicated page to track your progress with your New Year's resolution or your goals. One super underrated benefit of keeping a journal is that it makes it really rewarding and fun to look back on it in the future. Because I use a journal for every year of my life, I can just easily flip back and see how much of my goals I've achieved and what I was thinking about. So what I like to do is to have a page of my goals and to have a progress bar where I can fill it in as I reach different milestones. And this is just a way for me to kind of visualize my goal, and it sort of makes it more motivating for me to make progress on it. The second step is to explicitly state a reason behind each of your goals. The reason why this is pretty important has to do with what's called the golden circle theory. In the book Start With Why, the author Simon Sinek, who is also the speaker behind this super famous TED Talk, explains something called the golden circle theory, which is something we can use to increase our motivation for our goals. And if you think about it, that's really one of the most powerful things they can do to increase your intrinsic motivation. Because imagine how easy it would be to achieve your goal if every action that you take becomes easy and does not require discipline. And this is something that I felt firsthand. Like last year, one of my goals was to run a marathon. And I went from thinking that running was really difficult and required a lot of discipline to enjoying every run and actually looking forward to long runs. So the theory is that basically behind achieving any goal or result, there are 3 concentric circles. On the very outside, you have what the goal is. The next circle is how, as in, what you actually have to do. And in the very center is why, which is your core reason or desire for achieving this goal. So just by explicitly stating the why behind each of your goals, it can increase your intrinsic motivation and make progress actually feel fun and easy. I think not having a core reason as to why you want to achieve a goal is a really big reason as to why a lot of people give up. If you can tie your goals to your personal values or a deep part of your identity, it becomes a lot easier mentally to make progress on them and to stay motivated. If your New Year's resolution is simply to keep up a daily habit like walk 10,000 steps or to quit coffee, it's actually even more important to have a core reason because it's really easy for a habit to just drop off. So to practically do this, for me, I like to journal about the core reasons behind each of my goals. You could also do this digitally with Apple Notes, for example, and just pin them to the top of your Notes app. And it doesn't have to be super deep or profound, but there should be some reason behind your goal, or else it'll make keeping up with it super difficult. The third step is to set a goal for this month. The most practical way that you can immediately make progress on your goals is to set a mini goal that you can achieve this month. When you have a really ambitious goal or something that you want to achieve over the entire year, it's really hard to think about what you need to do for that day or month. This breaks down your ambitious yearly goal or New Year's resolution into something that's a lot more practical and prevents procrastination. From my personal experience, having a monthly goal, like a target to hit in the next 30 days, makes it a lot more fun and sort of like a video game. So the way that I see it is that my long-term goals or New Year's resolutions are kind of like my North Star. And it's really the monthly goals that are the actual things that I need to focus on for the month. And just by doing this every month, you'll naturally reach your long-term goal without even realizing it. This also gives you a chance every month to reflect on how much progress you made and whether or not you can be more ambitious or more realistic with your target. So for example, with running, last year, the first month, my goal was just to go out and go for a run every single day. And because that went well, the second month, I was able to make it a goal to do a half marathon. And so I signed up and I completed it. By consistently doing this, by May, I did a full marathon. And then by December, I decided to do another marathon. I think this only would have been possible because I've been setting these monthly goals. There are times that you realize that you can actually go way beyond the goals that you initially set. The way that I track this is that in my journal, every month I have a monthly page where on the right side, I'll have my targets for the month with a checkbox. By doing it in my journal, it makes it easy to reflect on each month pretty quickly. And also I'm forced to look at it every day and remind myself of my goals. If you don't want to use your journal, you could also go about this with the same method that I showed in the previous step. So with the same app, AnyText, you can have another widget next to your yearly goal that indicates what your monthly target or goal is, and you can update them as you achieve them. The fourth step is to track your progress daily. This is actually the core idea behind the book, Atomic Habits. It talks about how focusing on these daily incremental changes is what leads to big changes over time. So with your monthly target, you kind of have to reverse engineer what your daily habits should be, or if there is a metric that you can track that would help you make progress towards that goal. The benefit of turning your monthly goal into a daily habit for the month is that over time, it makes it automatic for you to make progress on them. And it doesn't always have to be a habit that you tick off. For example, when I was cutting, all I did was to write down my weight every single day. And it made me hyper aware of where I was in relation to my monthly goal. And it made the whole process a lot simpler. Sometimes for certain goals, it might seem really opaque what you could do as a daily habit. But most likely there is some action that if you were to do it every day, it would increase your likelihood of achieving that. And you could just make that your daily habit. The way that I track my daily habits is also with the monthly page in my journal. So on the left side, I have a list of dates, my daily highlights, and the habits that I want to focus on that month. They could be as simple as just lift, run, tracking my caffeine intake, or my sleep score. For me, I like to create this monthly pager every month, even if the habits are the same, because it gives me a chance to reflect on whether or not that habit was actually productive or if I wanted to make any changes. But the second way that you can track this is with the Visual Habit Tracker app. On iOS and Android, I recommend this app called HabitKit. It's kind of like the GitHub heat map if you've seen that before, and it creates a grid structure that you can use to easily track your habits on your home screen. For me, I use this to track my Anki usage throughout the year, and it's actually pretty motivating for me to see it every time I open my phone. The fifth step to helping you achieve your goals is to simply repeat these last two steps every month. So set a monthly target every month and track your habits to help you achieve that monthly target. If you can keep this up for the whole year, it would be pretty surprising to not make pretty dramatic progress on any goal that you set out. All right, but now I want to share a few tips to help you be more consistent and to keep yourself accountable. So the first thing is to review your goals often. The reason why it's really important to review your goals often is that it helps shape your identity. In the book Atomic Habits, it also talks about how your identity is really what shapes your habits. And so if you could change your identity over time, then the habits will also come naturally. Like in my case, I really had to see myself as a runner and identify as a runner for me to do all the things that a runner does and to eventually find running to be pretty effortless. The second tip I would say is to don't just set productivity goals. So along with the ambitious goals that you might have, you can also set goals that just help you increase life fulfillment, like going on more trips, learning a new skill or hobby, or spending more time with family and friends. I think there's a tendency to think that setting New Year's resolutions and making a deliberate effort towards them is only for people who want to grind or ambitious people, but you can also see it as a way to increase your life fulfillment and to make your life more interesting. If you think about it, the only way that you can really live an interesting life is if you take action to make your life interesting. Life is going to pass you by either way, and so if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. The third tip is really the biggest one that helps me focus on my goals and that brings everything together, which is to reduce distractions. For me, the biggest way that I've done that is with the modern dumb phone, which if you're curious, you can watch a video that I made about it right here. But either way, I know we're both going to achieve our goals this year. Let's get it.